Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Melvin podcast. We talk about strange, unexplained, weird, sometimes just fun history because I like looking into history that's not boring because school history is extremely boring to me.
There are some cool history moments.
Right. So I'm Nicole. This is Tori. Today,
Hello.
Tori's going to be telling us something. I have
Yeah.
no idea what it is, so it's going to be more of a surprise than it is. It's more of a surprise for me than you because you at least have a video title. I got nothing.
You get a little tile, maybe a picture. Who knows? But this one's definitely a little more on the dark side. It's still mysterious. And so imagine you're kayaking, right? Down the river with a group of buddies.
Which is already
then-
creepy. Listen, I can't swim very well.
As was said
So-
in our previous video.
Yes, if you haven't seen the Action Park video, you should definitely see it because I am a
well-
bad swimmer.
They're kayaking on a real river, okay?
Okay,
First off, so
okay.
no electrocution here.
Oh, sweet.
Anyway.
Sweet.
And you're off in the tree line. You see a young girl, and she is covered in blood.
Okay, Mini Carrie, got it. That's
So it's reported. So, in 1993, this is in Russia. I'm going to butcher all of these names.
yeah,
100%. If I get one of them right, score. And I'll be happy. Otherwise, I'm just going to be like, Southern accent, this is...
Very much not Russian.
Yeah, no, I'm probably the complete opposite. I don't know. But,
Ancestry.
yeah. I'm gonna try my hardest, okay? But it's... just know, I'm very sorry.
It's okay. I believe in you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. I hope someone else believes in me too.
Tell Tori you believe in her in the comments.
I just get a ton of like, nah. It's like, thanks. It's fine. Anyway, so in Russia, this is the Khama-Duban mountain range.
Okay, that sounds kind of right. Yeah.
Maybe some of you have heard of this. It's lesser known from, so it's a group of hikers, this adventure that we're going on to. So it reminds a lot of people of like the pass,
Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah, Dyatlov Pass. So, but this is a little lesser known, and it's further away. Like, it's not close to where it happened, but it still is a group of hikers in which this has happened to. And it's like in the southern region of Siberia. That's what I read. So I'm like, all right, cool. But you have these 7 groups. So I'm sorry. Let me try to pronounce her name. I'm just gonna have a bunch of mini clips of me trying to pronounce Russian.
Yes.
Clearly, I'm never going to learn Russian.
I'm definitely not going to. I'm struggling enough with Spanish, and I'm half Spanish. I should know it, and I don't. It's okay. I'm sorry, Grandma.
I struggle with English, so it's fine. So, Ludmila, I think is how you pronounce this. Koruvina.
Okay.
She was known to be a wonderful hiker. She was considered to be a master at the level of it is, and she had a group of students that they've planned for this hike for months. So they're super pumped. They're ready to go. There's also 2 other hiking groups that are going to be in that area as well. In fact, one of them is led by her daughter, Natalie. I think it's Natalie or Natalia. And sorry, I'm like, I don't know.
You got it.
So she was gonna meet up with that group, and they were gonna like have like a meet 6 days later or whatever for it. So really, nothing really should have gone wrong. And not only when they were supposed to meet, her mother wasn't there, but according to like when she was talking, she's like, I really didn't worry. Like, she's really good at what she does. She's 41 at this point.
Okay.
And so it's like she knows what she's doing. She has a lot of people that she's trained and they've loved her. Like, there's really not a lot of...
And she's not in an age where you start worrying about, like, can she make it through, like, physical things.
41 is pretty, like... Yeah, maybe she's got a little bit of soreness going on in her joints, but being a hiker for all of her life, I think her stamina is pretty good and all that. So the people that went, you have... I'm going to try to do this in age order. Okay. So you have 24-year-old Titania. You got 23-year-old Alexander, also goes by Sasha. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Sacha.
Okay, that sounds like a Sasha.
That's how he went by. This person was very close to Ludmila. I'm going to call her by her last name because I feel like I can pronounce that better.
Okay.
Karovina. I'm probably butchering all of these. Okay, anyway, he was the closest to the master. I'll call her the master. There we go.
Nice.
He's 23. You had 19-year-old Dennis, then 17-year-old Valentina, who also goes by Valia, 16-year-old Victoria, and 15-year-old Timur. I'm not pronouncing all of their last names. I can put a link in the description if you really want to know all of their last names. But we're not going to spend 20 minutes of me trying to pronounce them. Okay, I'm saving you the heartache. But it's a wide age group for the most part, but like pretty solid in athletics, I would think.
Right. And they're all like good like prime ages, like nothing that's wouldn't indicate that they wouldn't be able to make it through hiking.
No, and nothing reported as like health problems or anything like that. So
okay,
they decide August 2nd. This is when they're going. They look at the weather. It says it's going to be clear and it's going to be sunny. It's going to be great. This is
perfect.
So it's a summer. It's nice. It's going to be awesome. They make it to the track on the first day. It's like it's going well, beautiful. But then the next day, or a couple days later, because August 4th, the weather changed and a rainstorm came by. So not as clear as sunny as reports say, which if you live in Texas, you know it's never what the weather says it's going to be.
Yeah, no, it'll get close sometimes, but...
So it's like, I would be used to that. I don't know, maybe Russia has the same problem. And so it's huge rainstorm. It starts to weigh down. They get soaked like from head to toe.
Oof.
And according to apparently what she had done, instead of going and seeking cover in the tree line, they just right there in the open decided to set up camp. Even though like the tree line wasn't that far away. Like, they could get to it. Easy peasy. Maybe it would have added a few, like maybe a half hour or so to their trek, but really so it was a little bizarre.
Yeah, she could have just wanted to be out in the open so she could see if other things started approaching because of the weather.
Maybe.
But
I'm not too sure.
That's my only idea.
But they set up their tents and their camps and the next morning they have breakfast. They're able to start a fire. They weren't able to start a fire before, but I mean, it's raining and you're out in the open.
Yeah,
I feel like that's really hard to do.
Yeah, anything you find's gonna already be soaked or it's going to get soaked.
Yeah. But they were able to start a fire the next day, and they had breakfast and all of that. And as to what happens next is the mystery. So, first off is Sasha, Alexander. He's in the back of the group of the line, and he starts to scream. And so the master leader here, she goes over, she's like, oh, what's wrong? She tells everyone, it's going to be okay. You guys keep going on ahead to try to comfort him. But he starts bleeding from the eyes. He's foaming from the mouth. And then they're like, okay, I guess we'll continue down. They start continuing, but then they hear her screaming. And Dodge down. He's on the ground. And now she is bleeding from the eyes, foaming from the mouth, and just starts seizing, and she collapses on top of him.
Oh, this is giving me Bird Box vibes. I don't like that.
So Titania, she's the first one to figure out what's going on, and she comes back, or they get to reach her in some way, and now she's starting to bleed from the eyes, and she's clawing at her throat, and she's just like seems to not be able to breathe. She crawls over to a rocky place, and she starts bashing her head into the rocks until she goes completely limp. It's one of those traumatizing things, I am sure, to see one of your friends just crawl their way, and like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, no, that's on another level.
And so then you have Victoria and then Tamar, they start running. Valia, she's standing there frozen. Dennis, he runs and tries to hide behind a rock. But as Victoria and Tamar are running, they just collapse. You see them like grab their throats, and they collapse as they're trying to run. And so Valia gets Dennis, and they're like trying to run, but then he starts to feel the same way, and he falls down, and now he's dead.
So it's progressing from the back to the front.
It seems so.
What it seems.
I'm not quite sure what the order would have been, nor do I think we would actually truly know. Valia, seeing all this, everyone is dead. She bolts for the trees. She has a tent on her back and like a spare pack of clothes, and she runs. She's terrified, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And she spends the night there. When she wakes up, she realizes, okay, I'm alive, but I don't have any supplies. So she actually returns back to the site, sees everyone still where they're supposed to be. So everyone was definitely dead upon that. And so she grabs supplies and she goes back. She finds some power lines and she's following those. And it isn't until like 6 days later does she gets noticed by the kayakers. So she's covered in like dry blood. And when they find her, it takes her a while to even say her name.
Wow, so she's covered in blood.
Yeah, they reported she was like covered in dry blood.
Okay, probably from all of the
Probably from her
others.
friends bleeding from the eyes. She even said that some of them were throwing up blood.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't until like August 24th that police actually started a search for the bodies, because it took her so long to be able to tell her what happened.
Right, because she's traumatized.
Oh, she was in total shock. Like the fact she survived out there in the woods, it's just pure like she knows she has to live kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's complete like survival instincts of your mind just forgets everything other than just I need to survive.
Yeah. No. And she's 17. Just to remind you, this is a 17-year-old.
Gosh.
Yeah. So you just witness all of your friends and everything. They died, and it took 2 days for a helicopter pass to locate the people, in which I was looking for an interview with her to see if she did any. She did not. She did not want to say anything besides the initial report to the police. Other than that, she really didn't want to talk about it, understandably.
Right, because it's one of those things, like, if I saw that spontaneously happen and then I knew that what I did to survive was run away from it and didn't acknowledge it at all, I probably wouldn't want to.
You know, but she tried to help them get back to where they were, and so she helped with getting the search to where they could have been. But me trying to find the interview, I actually found a video of them locating this thing. I was not aware. I realized that the age thing, but I just thought like graphic descriptions kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, I was like sitting there just, wow. They had their faces blurred.
Well, that's good, but still, you definitely would have seen some of the blood and stuff.
They were definitely out in the open. There were a few rocks around, and it was very grassy.
Wow.
And it was awful. It was horrible. I am not linking that. Don't ask me.
Yeah, no.
You can find it yourself if you really want to know. It's on the Dyatlov Pass website too, because because it's similar-ish.
There's probably a theory that they're connected and like the same similar thing happened or something.
Well, they did an autopsy on all of them, and all of them died of hypothermia except for the 41-year-old. She had died of a heart attack.
Okay, and she was the first one that had started
She was the second one.
She was the second one, that's right. But they all died of hypothermia?
Hypothermia, and apparently they all also had a, what was it? They had bruised lungs and a protein deficiency in all of them.
Which is weird because they had just eaten.
Yeah.
So you would think that they wouldn't have any kind of deficiencies. I'm pretty sure she would have planned for...
And they definitely saw, like, dry blood on the faces of all of the people that have passed, so they know somewhat of what Valia was saying. But with trauma, how accurate was it?
Right.
Is what they think.
She even could just be misremembering some of the details.
It's like she could be, or she could not completely have forgotten a detail that was important too. Unsure. But yeah, theories are wild because there's so many different theories. Of course, there's aliens involved.
Of course. Anytime that's not explained, they're like, it's an alien.
It's an alien thing.
That.
But to that, I ask, why did they leave one alive?
Yeah, why did you leave one alive? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, with that. No, he would never do that.
Melvin wouldn't do that.
Melvin wouldn't.
He's a friendly alien.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we traumatize him more than anything else.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would never want to visit here. Another theory was that a chemical weapon was being tested for nerve gas, because a lot of the things that she was saying that happened, those are some of the side effects, like the bleeding and the not able to breathe.
That's what I was thinking, is that in a remote place, someone might have been testing something, because it sounds like it progressed in a kind of linear fashion, just based on how the story was going.
Is that this is a popular area for hikers and tourists to go.
Government conspiracies.
Yeah, that's what it was like. Because Koravina, the master hiker, like, she knew, like, oh, it's going to be it's going to cause some difficulties. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's a popular area to go. It's not going to be that hard to do it.
Right.
So it was like one of those hiking trips that you take at intermediate level, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. So it's like not like it's unknown completely. So I don't know about the gas even. Like, I get it. I can get it, but
I was thinking more of like radiation, because radiation causes a lot of really weird things, but you can normally detect radiation.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I'm like, and how specific does it have to be? Because how wide does it go out to as well? Mm-hmm. Or how pinpoint? Because there's 2 other hiking groups.
Oh, yeah.
Around
and
here.
They didn't get affected.
Like, she was supposed to meet up with her daughter's group.
Oh, that's so tough for the daughter, too. Oh, my gosh.
Right? And another theory is that maybe they ate some poisonous food, like mushrooms or berries of some sort, or perhaps they drank some toxic water, in which I'm like, but it was raining the day before,
yeah, so
like, you got rainwater. So
that would wash out. I can understand maybe the food. It's just weird that it would hit them all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And breakfast. And then to that, I'm like, did Valentina just that...
Also, that normally wouldn't cause, like, lung bruising. Because normally that affects your stomach, and you'll have, like, if it's that bad for you, you'll have stomach ulcers, you'll throw up. You know, that's just not in common with food poisoning.
Yeah. It's just weird that only one person survived. Like, even if, like, okay, maybe she didn't eat it or she didn't drink the same things that all of them did. Maybe.
The only other thing I can think of is a parasite. Like, they ate something and she happened to omit one thing from the meal. Like, oh, well, I don't really like this.
Maybe,
and everybody else ate it, because there are some crazy parasites out there. Most of the ones that we know of that are like in Africa, though, so we don't ever have to worry about
Maybe that's where the aliens come in. They invaded the food.
Oh my gosh.
And they set it off, and they were testing on how it affects us.
Maybe. That's crazy.
It's a possibility.
It is indeed a possibility.
I don't know if that's the actual... I like to think of the bizarre possibilities, and because it's creative and it's kind of interesting to like get your mind in a different way. And I don't want to think that something so horrible happening could be just dismissed
Run
as
of the
something
mill.
so simple.
Which is funny because I'm the opposite. I'm always like in my head. I'm like, it's got to be some like simple explanation.
Which the
for
simple
it.
explanation is hypothermia. It can make you do some crazy things. It did rain the night before. It got them all soaking wet. But then, like,
But then that one girl would still have symptoms of hypothermia.
right?
Unless she had like a significantly thicker jacket or she was bigger, which it doesn't sound like it.
She's in the middle of the group. Like, she's 17. She's part of the younger half that survived. You have 23, 24, 19, 16, 15, and 17.
Dang.
Like,
That's the only thing I could think of is that maybe like she just happened to be bigger or have like a bigger like fat ratio, and then it would protect her a little bit more from the elements. But
all
I don't
of them
think
looked
it'd
like
be
they were
that.
generally the same size. There's a photo of them like before they start hiking, and they look like they're all in physically good condition, relatively the same height. Like, yeah, there's some height differences, but
Interesting.
they seem pretty equal-ish. I don't know.
I'm gonna think. Right now. My best theory is like a parasite or something because like radiation, it would be too far widespread for it to affect other hikers. It's the only thing I can think of is that maybe they ate something that morning and she just happened to be like, I don't really like that, or I
It's
don't
like,
need
really
that.
want it. Yeah, in which she probably doesn't even remember it because of the trauma and not able to actually give completely accurate statements.
Right.
Because I mean, trauma. You just one starts it. There's eye bleeding, and you're like, whoa, that's weird. Like, that's super bizarre. It's okay. We'll meet up with another group. He'll be okay. We'll get him some help. Right? I would think this is how things would go through my mind if this had occurred to me. It's like, we'll just get him some help. I probably would be more concerned about getting the person help because I'm just so much like, I hope you're okay kind of thing.
Right.
And then if she starts screaming, and I'm like, oh no, it's something contagious. We gotta stay away. Like,
Right.
it's like, I want to help you, but we gotta stay away. It's fine. But and then the other one, I'm like, oh, it's definitely contagious. Seeing the other girl, Titania, crawling, and then just the way that she had died, I think is probably what broke Valia here.
Oh yeah.
Poor little girl. Like, that's the reason why the other two bolted running.
Yeah. Man.
I would freak me the heck out. I don't know if there's a movie based off of this.
I have no idea. The closest thing, like, it gives me so much Bird Box vibes. Like the creatures in the movies that we never see because it's like if you look
Yeah.
at them, then you become crazy. You can either
that's
become
true.
crazy or you just decide that you off yourself. Like, just gives me like weird like Bird Box vibes.
It's so strange.
That
Like the
is.
not being able to breathe either. Foaming mouth, vomiting blood.
Because bruised lungs, like, I think a lot of people, when they hear, like, bruised lungs, they think, oh, they got hit by something, or you can get bruises just from your veins being weak. So that's why I say it could be a parasite, because it could have been something that got into their bloodstream or something, and then weakened the veins.
Yeah, the protein deficiency is what's weird to me.
Yeah, that's what's definitely odd to me.
I'm like, what does it... That means, like, you just don't have as much... You didn't eat enough protein, right? Like, did they not... I'm like, well, did they not have peanut butter? I don't know.
I mean, that's one of the staples of hikers is they bring, like, that's why whenever they have trail mix, because it's for hikers usually,
Yeah.
it has peanuts in it. It's because it's got
You got a
protein.
little bit of protein, like jerky. I assume that's a very common thing
love
to
jerky.
take. This is in 1993, mind you, reminding. Like, it's not that terribly long ago.
Right.
I mean, it was before I was born, but
Yeah, same.
still, it's creepy. And to those kayakers, props to them not thinking that she's some just weird ghost and actually stopping.
Right, that's when you were telling me the story in the beginning. That's what I thought for sure that you were going is like it was like it's La Llorona or something like that. And I was like, okay, she's about to tell me like a possible ghost story, but nope.
No, well, the first time I heard it, that's how they started it, and I was like, oh, she's a ghost, and they stopped and they were going up, and it was two people decided to go up and like see if she was okay, check on her. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna get attacked or something.
Right.
And no, she just apparently just stared at them for the longest time, and they're like, hey, we're gonna get you some help. Can you tell us your name? And it took them a while for her to say her name, and then they were like, all right, let's get you to the police. And when they find out they're this group of people that like, they're like, okay, didn't even realize that you were missing.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck happened? Because it was supposed to be about a week hike. Mm-hmm. So it's like you start on August 2nd. August 10th is when she's found. Like, there probably wasn't a lot of red flags because of the weather changing.
Right. So I would explain it as, I guess it's taking them a little longer because they couldn't travel during certain days. But it's around now is when they would get back. But instead you get a call. You're like, hey, something went horribly wrong, and we need to talk to you.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Wow.
It's awful. Yeah, it's still technically not explained. It just, they said it was hypothermia, and that's it. A lot of people are like, that can't be it. You gotta be kidding me. In which apparently it can do some crazy things. Hypothermia can.
It makes sense. I know it can cause insanity and stuff because it's literally your body's mechanism starts shutting down.
So I need to know, how cold does it get in Russia? Like, I know it's cold.
In this area in August.
How cold is it?
If you're from Russia, let us know, because I'm curious. I don't know enough about geography.
I don't either. I can't properly assess or whatnot, like how cold that rain must have been.
Right.
Was when like maybe Valentina was like, I have thick coats and jackets. I ain't gonna have any no cold, and maybe that's why she's okay.
Maybe.
I don't know. But that's what happened.
Wow.
It's horrible, and yet it sounds so simple. I don't know.
Yeah.
What's awful is that I have a movie idea in my head because of this.
Oh, no.
It winds up making her the bad guy, in which I don't believe that she did anything. Okay,
right.
Let me be clarified.
It's more of like, it would be a fun twist on if this was something that was just like in a movie where it wasn't based on true events or something. Yeah. Like her role would be the bad guy.
Her role being the bad guy, like she took them all out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she just like playing the victim. I think that would be a cool like movie plot. I do not believe her to be that. Okay,
oh, no.
Let me not put her trauma out there.
Yeah, she's just a very poor, traumatized lady now.
Yeah, no, and I feel very bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That is so.
Man, well, if you want Tori to look up more of these kind of sad but fascinating stories,
where I may very well accidentally stumble into something I don't want to see, but I'll do it for you so you don't have to see it.
Right. If you want her to look up more than stuff, let us know in the comments. Let us know, what do you think might have happened? Because, your theory's probably not the craziest one that's out there. If we're being honest, there's some wild conspiracies when it comes to these kinds of like mysterious disappearances and findings and stuff, stories.
There's some that are so out there, and I love them.
So let us know in the comments if you want to hear more of this. If you have any other stories that maybe Tori hasn't heard of, just be like, hey, have you heard of this thing? She will definitely look it up. Anything mysterious, I am so there. Unexplained, I'm like, I want to know. Mm-hmm. When it's explained, I get bored. I'm sorry. Nah, it's okay. That's what I'm for. I'm here to traumatize you whenever I have explanations for things, and you're like, that's horrible. Like, but it happened. I hate it so much. Well, Like this video if you thought it was interesting. Subscribe if you want to see more of our content. We release bonus clips sometimes with just being goofy. I've started uploading those. We're shortly going to start uploading podcast episodes, which if you're listening to this on a podcast, you know it's already released on podcast.
Congratulations. I'm so happy to have you. It's like, honestly, I'm very excited with the very little amount that we have. I'm still like,
Right, because if just a peek into the editing world, I've started turning them into audios yesterday, so they probably will be up in not too long. So
share to a friend if you enjoy.
Share to a friend. We should have some social media links in the description. I've made a Facebook page. We might have more things if this takes a while for us to upload, because we do pre-record things for our own sanity, because we both sometimes get busy around the holidays.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining. Please join us next time. Bye-bye.